We are really excited about today's series launch. The Assistant Dean of Graduate Programs, Kathy Ackles, and I have been really talking about this program for about maybe a year now, and we're really happy that you all will have the first opportunity to participate in it. And what I want to draw your attention to first is what's in front of you and what's in these folders. What you'll see is the Q Passport to Success. It's a career readiness tool. Many of you may already have it, and if you don't, now you have one. And we want you to really take a photo at the LinkedIn booth, add your photo to it, and really own this tool. Because what it is a checklist that will really help you throughout your career developmental process. You can't travel on it, but you do get a leather passport holder for a real passport upon completion. Also, we have an evaluation that we hope that you'll complete at the end of today's activities, as well as a career outcomes assessment that we would prefer that you actually complete this before the breakout session, so you can kind of fill that out during brunch, and it should only take you a minute or two. And lastly, we have the program with the speaker bios and details about where the sessions will be, etc., and we'll be here to help you. As you look at your career strategy and refine your career strategy today, and you use this SMART Goals worksheet, more importantly, I'm going to ask you for a favor. I would like you to focus on one more thing, and that's your vision. And more than important than your vision, I want you to think about your motivation. And more importantly than your motivation, I want you to think about your passion. And more importantly than your passion, I want you to think about your purpose. And I'll tell you why. My first job was teaching tennis, but I didn't know that I was going to be a professional tennis player. I didn't know I was going to play tennis at UCLA, the number 1 ranked tennis team in the nation. I didn't know that I was going to be an athlete ambassador for the United States and attend a training with ambassadors for the United Nations, as well as pursue my master's in public health at Columbia University. My second job was a barista, and I didn't know, and I thought I had the hardest job in the world with a line out the door, being the only one on staff. I didn't know that I was going to meet the provost, chancellors, athletic coaches, and that my networking skills were going to come into effect. I didn't know that I was going to start using those relationship building skills in a future job as a financial advisor or business development manager. I didn't know these things. In fact, when I interviewed for the director of career services position 7 years ago, the president of the university used to be a director of career services himself in Seattle. And I was interviewing for a senior level position at the university. And he said to me, "Hassan, tell me, what is your passion?" And I said, motivating people. And he said, "Why is that?" I said, "Well, because when I was traveling around the world as a professional tennis player, I saw a ton of poverty, and it motivated me to want to do my master's in public health and help street kids. It motivated me to want to start my own not-for-profit, Invitation Relief." And he said to me, "Hassan, I'm going to throw a position out there. It's the director of career services, as well as a visiting professor. I think you'd be great at it. And the reason why is because if you can motivate a refugee to not give up in their life and persevere, you can motivate a team. And you can motivate a student to get out of bed and interview for a job." I didn't know. My point is that I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew what I was passionate about. And I want you to embrace that uncertainty. And I want you to interview yourself. Not interview yourself. Not think about interviewing with employers yet. Not quite yet. But interview yourself as you go through today and explore and look within and really look at what drives you and what your vision is. And what I want to leave you with is a story that the president asked me to give. He said, "I want you to tell me a story I'm gonna give you one question, Hassan, and if you give me a good answer, you have the job. And I said, okay. And it was a question that I didn't anticipate. And he said, give me a story that you would tell a student that would motivate them. And I said, well, I think it would be when my father passed away when I was the age of 11. And I said that my mother looked for a job for 2 years without any luck. She used to sell flower decorations at the local swamp meet just to make ends meet. And one day it was hailing, and a neighbor came over and said, hey, there's a position for a chemist. My father had a PhD, was a chemist. My mother was also a biochem professor in South Asia. I said, why don't you go interview for the job? My mom said, how am I going to drive an hour away in hail with the big truck that I've never driven before as my car's broken down? And she said, just go. And somehow or another, she convinced my mom. My mom went and interviewed. And sure enough, she got the position. And that was her job for the next 30 years. And so when I asked my mom what motivated her, she said, my children. So what I'm going to leave you with is everyone has a purpose. It's developed through your passion. And when one is on point with their passion, with their purpose, it can make the world a better place. What's your motivation? Thank you very much.